Join us today as we explore what it means to be customer obsessed in the tech landscape, the challenges and triumphs of implementing this mindset across teams, and the insights that can help businesses of all sizes elevate their relationship with their customers. Our guest today is the driving force behind innovative strategies that not only enhance customer experience, but foster deep and genuine connections between people and companies. So whether you're a founder of a startup, you're a seasoned business executive, or you're just curious about the world of customer service, you do not want to miss this very important conversation. My name is Julian Kamau, and let's dive right in. I'd want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. Tell us your name, what you do, and just a little bit of what your day looks like.
Okay, thanks, Julian. My full names are Lucille Aveva. I'm the Director of Customer Obsession here at Safaricom. And the question I get asked very often is, what is customer obsession? And therefore, what do you do? I joined Safaricom in 2021 in May. And my assignment as I joined in was to help establish customer-obsessed, digital-first organization. So to establish the foundations. Safaricom is one of the first companies in the region that has truly embedded customer obsession, created a culture around it. The spirit of Safaricom has 4 elements. It has purpose, it has customer obsession, it has collaboration and innovation. And now, building a culture and actually an area responsible for that vision. So when the products or services are created, they're created with the customer in mind. Who would use this product? Are they abled or are they abled differently? And therefore, how do we develop the product? So that's a customer-centric organization. Then getting feedback from the customers. How does this fit within your lifestyle? What can we do differently? So my role was really then about, it's an evangelist for the customer. In the organization, really playing back to the organization, are we putting the customer first? But also providing the tools that would help us be customer focused. So we start with our internal customers in service of our external customers. Yes, so there's skill set, tool sets, and then mindset. So I also then ensuring that we build the soft skills, you know, to dealing with customers is not easy, eh?
I agree, and that brings me to my question. Is customer obsession a mindset? Because there's that argument that it's more of a culture as opposed to a verb of doing something.
So you're right, and it's a very debatable question. For Safaricom, we are very intentional. Every single tribe in the organization, as you know, and within the squads, must have a customer journey expert. Why? Because the journeys have to be built for the customers. So we've got that mindset in terms of the culture, we've got the skill set, but even the tool sets we provide have the customer in mind in terms of, have we provided systems, procedures, standards that enable us to deliver things for the customer. The reason we do this is so that as Safaricom, everyone is ready, which is the skill set.
Has the skills.
Everyone is ready, is willing, which is a mindset. Because you could be like, oh, I don't want to deal with customers today, I just want to code. But who are you coding for? The customer. So it'd be like, yeah, today I'm coding for young children who will use M-Pesa Go. So that is customer obsession because it's with the customer in mind.
Wow, I think that really gives a good explanation of what customer obsession is and creates a better understanding. But also, there's something you mentioned about customer journey experts. It's a word that I hear being thrown around so much. Maybe you can just explain for us a bit what that is. For someone who might not be able to understand what the work of a customer journey expert, what do they do? Bringing it back internally in terms of product development and service development, our customer journey experts must ensure that any product or service that is built considers the customer life stages. So this product that we are developing, let's say a new mobile data bundle, how will the customer discover it's even there?
amongst the 3,500 products that they have. So they have to think through. It has to be in the website, it has to be on the app, if there's an advert, if it's in the channels. So they must think through that. They must think through the process of the customer acquiring that bundle.
Onboarding them.
Yes. So first of all, the buying, because I've discovered where to get it, I need to acquire it. So am I buying it on USSD? And if it's on USSD, for those who like USSD, am I going to go through 3,000 steps before I get that product? I'll lose interest before I get it, yeah? So they try to make it intuitive. Then the process of paying for it. Is it easy? Will I pay by M-Pesa? Will I pay by airtime? Service, how will I get service? So that's what our customer journey experts in Safaricom do. The products might be different, and the tool sets we talked about earlier is the non-negotiable standards that we have that allow them to say, this product is customer-centric and can now pass through the gate, and our gate score is 95%, meaning that it's customer-centric. That's Safaricom.
Any advice to businesses that don't have customer obsession, have not looked at that as an important aspect?
So being customer-centric and being really customer-focused from the time you start can actually enable your organization grow. And this is the story of Safaricom. Safaricom came in as a challenger. Safaricom was a department of telecom as we know it today. But because Safaricom positioned itself intentionally, deliberately, being there for the Kenyans and being there for the masses who felt nobody cared about them, that's the story of our growth. And we continue to put our ears on the ground to hear what the customers are saying, whether we like what they're saying or what we don't like what they're saying because it hurts our feelings is irrelevant. This is what the customers are saying. These are our customers and these are there for the opportunities. So any company out there starting, they always start with looking for at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 customers. Don't lose sight of those customers, even when you get to 10,000, 40,000, 1 million, or even 44 million like Safaricom has.
So for you, Lucille, at a personal level, how did you end up being customer obsessed? Even further, how did you end up in doing what you do?
Very reflective. So first of all, let's start with what I knew I will not do. I knew I will not be good at dissecting, what are those things we used to dissect in the lab? I think it was frogs. That was scary. So doctor was out. Chemistry, I knew I will not be in that era because I was in the back side of the chem lab benches. Bunsen burner cooking tea with a milk powder as opposed to doing a lactose test. But okay, on a serious note, just people. I think sometimes it's inborn. You know, when you're called to serve, at a personal level, we also have a foundation at home, and it's really about service. You know, there's something just in the depth of you that says, but where is the customer in this? Where is the customer in this? Because it's the customer who's going to buy it ultimately. And I want to treat people the way I would want to be treated. And so I found myself here, and how I ended up with Safaricom and in this role, having been in the telco industries with, you know, the other players, was because Safaricom was, still is, and will continue to be that organization with the level of customers that we have. So we literally serve Kenya. Kenya is our customer base. So what better way to serve the people who make up this wonderful country of ours? And given such a fantastic platform to build lives, transform lives positively, and impact on lives, as well as be an inspiration to Kenyans in terms of what they can do. That's what drives me, and that's how I found myself here. To build the customer-centric culture in Safaricom.
Wow. Yes. Okay. I love that. And how does a customer feel the impact of your work?
We are the invisible force, but it comes through, for instance, when customers, let's say the ones who have a smartphone, or even the ones who are using a feature phone, and they get through something like tunukiwa. You know, we've got many products and services. Tunukiwa is a Swahili word for gifting you. In the technology world, it's hyper-personalization. So the customers may not necessarily see what we're doing, but they'll feel, because it'll be like, oh wow, okay, I have a new offer that's very specific to me. The bundle that's been packaged and priced very differently from what's available in the main menu. How does that happen? Our customer journey experts, the different products, we get insights. We've got deep data analytics that know your behavioral pattern of utilizing data, and therefore you get a personalized product. That is part of our commitments in customer obsession, in terms of we must deliver the experience of one.
So Lucille, you mentioned about personalization, and you talked about the experience of one. What does that mean?
So in simple terms, Juliana, the experience of one is where our customer actually feels we are relating with them as the person that they are, and not a number of one of Safaricom's 44 million customers. And they can experience it in different ways. When we address them by name. When we offer product and solutions, they feel it speaks to their needs.
How do you get to know what the customers want?
That's key, and also touches on the customer journey experts, but now we bring different parts of the organization. So first of all, insights, customer insights, ask. And I know there's a lot of debate of, do customers always know what they want? But customers to a degree know what they don't want, and we can build on what they don't want. For instance, they don't want to wait forever calling for someone to pick their call in the call center. And that means, but they also want the convenience of making that call from their house. Enter DIY. So how can we enable the customer to self-serve? So they're not waiting for too long, but they're able to get their problem solved, by themselves, guided by us. Or it could be they need to get something from our shops, and the nearest shop to them is 150 kilometers. They don't want that. They love us, but not that much. So in terms of touch points, then with the channels, they are now rolling out express centers, they're rolling out franchise. And the intent for that is to be very close to where the customers are. Over and above that, we have vans. So these are extensions of the services our partners give. And vans now come even closer to you, where it is something you have to acquire, like a SIM card.
How does the customer obsession team use technology in their day-to-day work?
When we do customer surveys, they give us verbatim. We like you, we don't like you, we like this, we don't like this, I wish you could do this. All that information is actually then analyzed by our deep data and analytics team. So beyond the technology, we are powered by AI, by analytics. And they make sense of this information. They've created for us a detractor management tool that's predictive. So that's technology that helps us to see the future and stop it before it happens. In the sense of customers not being happy with a particular product, service, or the way we handle them. So we are always living in the future now through technology.
The median age in Kenya is 19.5.
I know, shocking.
I know. All of us are way older than that age.
I was once 19.
Yes, very many years ago.
Yeah.
So how are we preparing for this customer who is young, is vibrant, is digital native, for now and also for the future? And they're also very demanding. They have very high expectations. They actually look at themselves like global citizens, not Kenyan citizens. And they need services that elevate them to that level. How is Safaricom preparing for this customer?
So luckily, we are parents to them, siblings to them, and even at leadership in Safaricom, just understanding as we become a tech core, we have the wisdom to include them. I'm not 19, I was once 19, but when I was 19, the world was not the way it is today. So we've got a very vibrant staff base that are actually the Gen Zs. They're very driven in terms of tech. They're very creative. They're very innovative. Coding has changed in this day and age. And therefore, we also need to have a platform that speaks to that. We've got the SHOOK, the Safaricom Hook platform, because it is the world where they exist, where things are done in the way they understand it, by them, through them, with them. So that's one of the first things that we do. So we are very clear and cognizant of that. In terms of even the innovation that we do today, it's because of some of the thoughts or the innovative ideas that come from this cohort of youth. Some of the services we're delivering now are also transforming to ensure that it speaks to the language of the youth.
Let's think about an old grandmother in the village who has their Katululu, Katululu being the feature phone. How are we factoring in their needs in our innovation, in our products? How are we able to reach them and make them, and at least involve them so that they don't feel left out as we are also looking into the future?
That's actually a very, very good question. And it'll explain why Safaricom, that is purpose-led, our new vision is to be Africa's leading purpose-led tech company. And when people talk about technology, you know, we think about it being very complex. The reality, technology in itself is very complex, but it helps to simplify the very complex. So we take the example of my grandma in the village, who would want to make an M-Pesa payment. Through technology, we've really simplified the process that says all you need to do is remember the telephone contact you want to send. Press here, it's intuitive because it's repetitive. They know either I dial *544#, I go to number 1, I go to number 2. Theirs is to learn the intuitive steps. But the things that are happening in the background, to move your money from one place to another place, to send it to where it needs to go, you know, it's happening like magic, but that's leveraging technology. What I'd like to end with is, let's give our grandmothers and grandparents, smartphones. You know why? They can get into WhatsApp groups with their grandkids. They can now do video calls. And that's another example of technology with their children living abroad or elsewhere. So it's a very smart device. It's very technical, but it makes it very easy because now they just dial Julian. Hi, Julian. So we also want to demystify technology in terms of as an enabler, vis-a-vis being a complex thing that you have to be a geek.
Mwelekeo ni internet, lipa mdogo mdogo are some of the touch points for some of our customers. Kindly explain to us how that works.
When you look at the adverts of Mwelekeo ni internet, we never talked about our product and services. It was always about what would the different people do and benefit from using the internet, and how would it elevate their life. And that was the inspiration in terms of Mwelekeo ni internet. The message being, by the way, for you to achieve your dreams and goals in today's age, internet, Mwelekeo ni internet. Now, lipa mdogo mdogo is again one of those understanding customer needs and experience of one, where not everybody can afford to buy a device cash upfront. Or they may afford to buy cash up front, but why should I? I'll lose my money for something else. So lipa mdogo mdogo is about inclusion.
How are we including the
differently
abled persons?
Like we said, Safaricom is a purpose-led organization, and there's a lot that we actually do behind the scenes. So besides the very obvious that if you go to our shops, you'll find ramps, you know, that's a standard, it must be there to enable access to the shop. For those who then we go through the queue management system, and by design, you know, to the abled, it doesn't make sense, but by design, when your number is called out, besides hearing it, the number is displayed, because we could be differently abled. I could be blind, so I need to hear. I will hear. I could be deaf, so I need to see. But to the able person, you're enjoying all. So that's one of the things that is there very uniquely for the differently abled. When on the care center, and I know today we hear a lot of people saying that I cannot get access to the contact center, and that's a story for another day.
Yes,
We'll probably get to it by
the
the end of the day.
Yes.
But for differently abled, because we've got the national agency for the differently abled, they are all whitelisted on our network because first they've been registered there. So at the care outlet, care center, when they dial our care center, they get preferential, they get priority because they've been whitelisted. We've also, across the different areas, we've got staff who speak by sign language, and we're trying to enhance that in the care center now to see, can we explore, visual engagement with the differently abled. Yeah.
Okay. There's what you've already started on, and I think let's just get onto it. There's been so many complaints on social media of our customers not being able to speak to customer care agents. And I'd want to know, how do you find the balance between using technology and people in a way that will not make people feel like they've been kicked out or closed off, yes, from speaking to us?
We've doubled our numbers, our customer base, the last 5 years. Safaricom, people know Safaricom is big, but we have 44 million customers. We had 22. 5 years ago, with very simple products, we now have 44. With 96% of them using M-Pesa on a daily basis. So it has made it complex. Now, back to the question. I cannot get hold of you. And what are we doing about it? Sometimes I see memes waiting for a Safaricom customer to answer a call. And then there's two guys lying down. And then, sometimes I speak to people and ask, but how many call center staff do you think we have? They're like, it's like 20. I'm like, no, we have like 2,000 across Nairobi and Eldoret. We have over 500,000 calls a day. That's actually quite a lot. And the issues are the same. I've sent money to the wrong place. I want to swap my line. I need to report a fraud. And then there's others. I've forgotten my PIN.
My PIN.
That one. I can't tell you what your PIN is, but they do call. I've forgotten my PIN, so it's about resetting. And therefore, because they're very, very simple issues, we are working very closely also with the customers to try and help them to DIY.
And also to reduce demand.
And actually that's the main role that my area does, working with the business across. Back to the conversation of the CJE, the products must work the first time. We are building a solution where any customer, anytime, anywhere, can speak to our Zuri. And I know they'll say, but Zuri is not a real person. But with modern technology and AI, the bots today speak to people, and it's about the voice modulation, which you're actually in the process of perfecting, and you'll not know. Most airlines, most banks globally, you'll speak and you'll be engaging and you think you're actually speaking to an agent. It's actually a bot. It's the learning that it has gone through, and we're currently testing that with our youth. We actually get about 90,000 customers interacting with Zuri. And you're able to ask anything, stay online for however long as you want. Zuri doesn't get tired, and when Zuri cannot answer, then you're transferred to an agent.
What does it take to be a customer care agent? Because I believe this is not an easy job. It's not a job for anyone.
I think the first thing, you must genuinely like people. Let me tell you, if you don't like people, all you'll be doing is dealing with people, listening to people issues, and all you want to do is run away. So empathy is one of those things that you cannot fake, because either you'll actually be very frustrated. It's a thankless job, but also very rewarding. Our frontline teams, and frontline are those who answer the calls as well as those who are in the shops. In a day, they are a psychologist, they are a psychiatrist, they are a conflict resolver, they are a technical expert, they're an expert of everything. But that's why that is anchored on, first of all, understanding the culture of Safaricom. You're out there representing Safaricom. And they are also the ones who are the, that boxing, the punch bag. They're also the punch bag on behalf of the organization. And anytime we have an outage, anytime we have an issue, if you're seeing it on social media, they are getting it face to face.
Yeah.
You
10 times,
people
100
times. And therefore temperament is something that's very key. You cannot just be someone who gets off the minute one small thing triggers you, because in a day you'll face several triggers. The other one is also just being called to serve. Service, I can say, is a calling. In terms of knowing I serve a bigger purpose.
How do we take care of our customer care agents so that they are able to handle the amount of emotional intelligence to handle the calls that come from our public, and also be the punching bag for the organization?
Yeah, so you've actually touched on one of the things that we do as customer obsession in terms of ensuring that we have a customer obsessed culture across the entire organization. And therefore, and not to take anything from frontline, different parts of the organization rely on each other to produce either product or service that works, is always on behalf of the customer, so that the frontline don't have to deal with that. So frontline, of course, the first care that they must feel they have is that the rest of the business cares. They care enough to make sure that the systems are up and running. They care enough to inform them when there's a new product that's been launched. They care enough to tell them if a product is down or is undergoing maintenance, because they'll be the first point of contact. So information is very important. Two, that there's a balance and that we understand that they do need time off. So the way they are also managed to ensure that there's a balance of time at work and time off of work. And from an overall Safaricom philosophy and from our HR side, we take mental health very seriously. And there's access to, one, the medical cover that the frontline have, and this includes mental health services. We have, and this is available to any Safaricom staff, but is really, really key for our frontline.
Basically, in the entire, business space, when things are working, guys are silent, yes, until something bad happens. And that's when everyone is up in arms and complaining about poor services. How do you make sure that customers remember the good that is working in a space where it's very hard to look at?
At the heart of every complaint, the silver lining is that we did not expect Safaricom to do this. Safaricom is better than this. This is not Safaricom. And that's heartwarming in terms of the expectations they have of us, but it's also dampening in terms of we've let another customer down, and sometimes the most basic of stuff. This is where I turn back to the organization and say, it's where we have to do the impossible. Calling it impossible because breaks happen, but our commitment to our customers, and actually it's on the charter here where we're saying we must provide always on seamless connectivity, anywhere, anytime. Actually, you're right. And if it breaks down and there's a service breakdown, then the customer must only ask once. It is us recognizing, and that's building the customer obsession culture of us recognizing that we are like a utility in terms of the services we provide. But in terms of the emotional connection, we are a brand that people believe has helped them to build their lives. And when things don't work, it's affecting their life. We've come to understand the role that we play is bigger than just the product and services we produce. Those fuel the lives and enable people to do life, as it were.
Yeah.
And therefore, we must make sure it's always on.
Yeah.
And when it does break down, we do not get the customer to go round and round and round. They ask once and they fix it.
And we should be able to have a faster turnaround time from when they complain.
Yes.
What message would you have as we wind up? What message would you have for customers who feel that we've let them down? recently, because I think we've been able to see some, or rather we've seen some complaints over some of our services and products. What message would you have for them as we are in the customer obsession month, October?
From deep within our hearts as Safaricom, Safaricom truly cares for the customer. There's very many of you, but we care for each and every one of you. We love our customers, and it's with the high standards that they hold us with that we're able to actually be innovative. Safaricom has been known for its innovation. And if you look at the levels of innovation over the years, they're changing in terms of complexity, they're changing in terms of cutting edge, and they're changing in terms of breakthrough. And this could not have been possible without our customers. So we thank you, we love you, and we do care for you, our dear customers. It is with you, through you, and collaborating that we can only build a much stronger Safaricom. Because Safaricom was founded on the belief by people that it is here because of the people of Kenya. It is a Kenyan company run by Kenyan people. So also thank you. We don't take it for granted that you're still our customers, and happy Customer Obsession Month and happy Customer Service Week coming up.
Thank you so much, Lucille, for joining the Newsroom podcast. And thank you so much, our viewers. That has been Lucille Aviva, the Director of Customer Obsession. And today we've learned quite a bit. So whether you're a startup or you're a seasoned executive, whichever business you are, you've learned that the customer is at the center of every business. Thank you so much for joining the Safaricom Newsroom podcast. Remember, you can access our content on Spotify. You can also access more of our articles on the Safaricom Newsroom website. And until next time, thank you so much.